Shantae's Locs and Lovely says, I love you, Keisha. Thank you. I love you too. Pickle cookies from Jamaica. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're wrapping it up. I'm about to go on for this panel. Hey. Why are you on tonight, Keisha? Hi, Morgan. I think I've seen a few of your YouTube channel. Yes, you probably did. You searched Locs. I'm sure I came up. Oh, much love. I Love You Fun. Hey, world. I Love You Fun is hosting. If you guys see her up on the stage earlier, she's hosting. Janelle from Barbados. Nice. All right, so we're about to do a panel, so I gotta get up out of here.
Well, I had no idea that I was gonna be on panel first, but since I got the mic, I'm gonna bless it. I'm so grateful to be here. Great evening, everyone. I am Darrius Peace, your natural hair expert. I have been, oh, I'm gonna kick over your thread, I'm so sorry. I've been treating and styling natural Afro texture hair for 20 years this year. I absolutely love it. I travel all over the world teaching and speaking on the topic of natural Afro texture hair, helping to, wait a minute, some of y'all not listening to me. I'm listening. Thank you, mommy. Yeah, but I help facilitate smooth and easy transitions and experiences with natural hair, and I'm so honored to be here. I'm here with my brothers in mentoring. So Thando, Kafele, the founder of mentoring, invited me to join him and Jibril, Waajid as we travel the world touring, spreading the word about natural hair, the parallels that exist between how we treat our hair and how we treat our lives, manhood, showcasing a masculine presence and essence in the industry of natural hair, because many of us know that it is currently physically dominated by women, but of course one of the things that we're doing is adding balance to the industry by adding a male perspective. So I'm really excited to be a part of this initiative as well as this tour. And I'm just grateful to be here, so thank y'all so much for having me. And I just eligible this punk that good time. Yeah!
Thank you. So you can have a seat. You can be the first to have a seat. We're going to call up your next brother from the mentoring section, Mr. King of Loc himself, Thando Kafele. See how smooth this brother is? Alright, we're waiting on you, King. This is all you.
You got it, you good?
What's up, everybody? I'm Thando Kafele, aka the Loc Star from Brooklyn, New York. In the game 20 plus years. I've done everything from celebrities, product endorsement, competition winner, one of the most awarded and celebrated Loc stylists in the game. Thank you, LocLivin, and my sister, where's the lady in red? Latoya, who invited me. I've been in the game over 25 years, and I don't take none of this for granted. I'm very humble and in gratitude that after 20 plus years, people still find that I have something important and relevant to say. Thank you for having me.
All right. We're going to round up the mentoring brothers and welcome up their third asset, Brother Jibril Waajid.
How's everybody doing? Everybody doing okay today? I'm just looking into the crowd, all these beautiful, sisters and brothers. All right. My name is Jibril Waajid. I am a natural specialist. I say healer because what we do with our hands is we heal. So I've been in the industry over 20 to 25 years. I'm an educator, it's a passion of mine, and what I would like to just really see today is really that conversation about how we can really take control over the industry that we create, that we go so often continue to create. So it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be amongst so many beautiful people, and I'm just looking forward to just having a chance.
Right. Give that brother a hand. Next up on stage to the panel, we're going to welcome Miss Deshonica, Kerrie. Did I say that right? Kerrie?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
You're natural and you're happy and you love yourself. So we can scream it. And I feel like, yes, it starts from the inside out. And again, my name is Charmaine. I've been doing hair, I feel like a stylist for a little over 25 years. And this is my love and my passion. I do all face of hair, healthy hair. And I always believe that it's a choice. Whatever you wear is a choice, but again, it starts with considering yourself and being confident. So, we talk about styles and this and that, but what do you like and who are you? So, I hope that tonight you can answer some questions, and thanks for having me in the team. I love you!
All right. Next up, she said, I ain't a killer, but don't push me. She like real quiet, and when you see her, she looks like she's not intimidating, but she's a killer, because killer does that. Miss Keisha, Charmaine. Where you from?
Hey everybody, I'm Keisha Charmaine, author of More Than a Hair Journey, The Black Women's Guide to Self-Love Lock Maintenance. Most well known for my YouTube channel where I have been broadcasting my entire lock journey. So if you want to see someone's lock journey firsthand, from the beginning to almost 8 years, check me out on YouTube, youtube.com/Keisha Charmaine. And I'm also the owner of LocLivin LLC. I sell lock accessories handmade by me, as well as head wraps and things of that nature. So, thank you.
And last but definitely not least, I want y'all to give a warm welcome to this brother, Damian Waters, Universal Next. He brought his own mic. That's what I'm talking about.
How's everybody doing? Is it? Y'all was louder than that when the music was on. How are y'all doing? I've been a stylist for over 18 years. I've been an educator for the last 5 years. I'm sure a lot of you guys know me from my crazy YouTube videos as well. I ran stuff on Instagram. But I'm grateful to be in the building. I'm grateful they brought me in to be a panel. I'll be on the panel discussion, but just beware, I say a lot of crazy things. So I'm supposed to be talking to my heart. Amen? Amen. I'd like to enjoy the show.
Y'all can keep this mic because we're about to get to the questions.
First question is, what is the biggest misconception about natural hair?
What is the biggest misconception about natural hair?
That you can't watch.
Hold on, we gotta give y'all another mic.
I feel like the biggest misconception for me goes through that shampooing process. A lot of people feel like you can't condition or you can't shampoo locks, you can't do this, you can't do that. Healthy hair is clean hair. You want to have hydration levels that are through the roof. You want moisturization that's through the roof, so that the hair can last and give you what you came here for, a healthy journey.
Another misconception is that it's difficult. I feel like it's just not well known on the mainstream levels. So that's why people think that it's hard to maintain natural hair and locks. Hello? Okay. Well, just with some research, that little myth will go away because it's not difficult. It's just one of my biggest myths that my hair look exactly like his hair. I find that we'll look on different channels or come to the salon and we're like, I want my hair just like this picture, exactly this curl pattern. But what happens is it's not, your hair is your hair, so just understanding and embracing your curl pattern and your texture and little things that fit you for your life.
Well, I think that, it just really depends. Ooh. Is this better? Thank you. So I think that it just depends on who the misconception is coming from. Of course, white people look at our hair, they think we don't wash it. They think that, it's woolly, that it's hard, when it's actually very soft, very manageable, very easy. I think that one of the biggest misconceptions with black people, though, particularly speaking black women, is that it will not be accepted in the workplace. And that it won't be accepted in mainstream. And I always philosophize that once one accepts, embraces, and loves their natural hair, then you will teach the world to follow suit. with what you're doing. So we teach people how to treat us, and we also teach people how to treat our hair. And we also teach people how to refer to our hair and how to think about our hair. So once we think, you know, oh, my hair is lovely, oh, my hair is fantastic, my hair is lustrous and soft and beautiful, you know, and we dispel any myths or, you know, negative terminology in reference to our hair, that's when the world will follow suit. So we teach them and they follow our lead. Oh, wait a minute, hand first? All right.
One of the biggest misconceptions is when I speak to cosmetologists and I tell them that I'm a loctician. Their response is usually, I do regular hair. Natural hair is regular hair. Any other hair is irregular. Our hair is the standard. When God made natural hair, he was showing off. He was exemplifying excellence. He was showcasing that natural hair is the strongest hair on the planet. It is the most versatile hair on the planet. And that what most were taught in school is that natural hair is not dead. Natural hair is alive. It's an antenna to the universe. And because it creates so much misunderstandings, the energy around it has to be alive. Natural hair is everything.
We good on that question? We'll get to the next question. So the next question. Why is Locs your passion? Your passion? I need that from each and every last one of y'all. What makes Locs your passion?
I've been doing Locs for over 25 years. I never went to cosmetology school. I never put a lights on anyone's hair. Natural hair is all I know. This month I will be 50. Black don't crack and beige don't age.
Hey, hello.
Locs is my passion because Locs is the first hair on the planet. It's everything to me. It's my duty to teach our people to love, honor, and respect their God-given hair. I want little girls to know that Beyonce is a standard of beauty, not the standard of beauty. I want black men to know that they can style their hair, and when they achieve style, then that's when a king knows how to wear his crown. Natural hair is healthy hair. You can't have hair that's healthy, in my opinion, unless it's natural. Locs is the audacity of natural hair. It's the beginning, it's the first. And after we do all of the insanity and damage to our hair and our scalp, Locs will be the final stage.
Locs is not my passion. I do natural hair across the board. I love Locs. I wear Locs. Locs is a part of my lifestyle. My wife wears Locs. My daughters wear Locs. Some of my sons wear Locs. But I like to help black women who are transitioning out of the enslavement of the relaxer to transition from wearing their natural hair, wearing their coils, wearing their curls, getting to know those textures, the diversity of it, the feel of it, you know, for them to, on their own, dispel any myths that they may have been taught or misconceptions that they may have learned about their Afro textures, helping them to learn the diversity of style options that they have with their natural textures, how to create these exaggerated curls with their afros and, you know, with their coils and, you know, even with their locks. You know, I love locks, as I said before, because locks offer more versatility than any style option on the face of the planet. You know, locks can be curled and they can be twisted and they can be braided and they can be curled, they can be flat ironed, they can be set. You can do anything that you want to do to locks without any of the compromise that the chemicals, you know, offer. And, you know, I think that it is a almost a perfect option for black women, because most of the sisters that I've encountered in my life, you know, all desire growing longer hair. You know, they want this really long, lustrous hair. And one of the only ways that I've experienced that happening is through locks, you know, because locks, you know, don't shed in the way that loose hair sheds. You know, they shed into each other, and, you know, it just keeps going and growing and going and growing. So I love it because it allows me as a stylist to grow with my clients, and it allows me as a person to grow with myself. So locks is not my passion, although I love them, but people who choose to wear their natural hair, that's my passion.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So the love of hair is my passion, and I'll say what I love about natural hair is I've seen clients, myself, it's like a journey. You know, you have to, when I say love yourself, it's serious, because you have to look in the mirror when you go to work and somebody says it's not acceptable. You have to look at yourself and you're like, I cut my hair off and see don't like it. It's just a story in every hair, especially again when you go confident with natural. So I feel like it teaches you journey. It helps you look within. Besides, you know, that song, I'm Not My Hair, it's true. So I just think it's a lifestyle, and it just makes you a better person, and it just teaches you about yourself. And it's an amazing, amazing growth.
Wow.
Well, I would say locks are my passion. What makes locks my passion are the haters. Every time somebody says something negative about locks, I fall more deeply in love, helping my people achieve that goal, achieve that look. Every time I see something that's just saying that there's a law, there's a discrepancy, that's ugly, she doesn't wash her hair, she doesn't do this, she doesn't do that, I wash twice as hard. I style twice as hard. I make another video. I give another person hope, love, and peace, because it also brings community. I found that a lot of people that are locked have a way stronger community than those that have relaxers. They really commune with one another. They really talk to one another. They really are friends. They really look for that advice from their sister and their brother. So that's what makes me love Locs and have a passion.
I'm definitely passionate about locks, especially my locks as an individual. My locks, they represent a form of expression for me. For a while, I was coloring my hair different colors, a ton of different colors. And that's where I was at that point in my life. Now, I'm keeping single, but they also represent me as a black woman. The natural hair, I have had a perm hair for the first 18 years of my life. When I went to college, I started transitioning out of my perm. I wore my hair in braids to grow out my hair natural. And after a year, after my freshman year, I locked my hair up. Sophomore year of college, and I never turned back. Never regretted it, never doubted it. And I feel like it represents me blossoming into a woman. And it represents my femininity and, of course, my blackness, which I absolutely do adore. I love my people, black women, black men, Caribbean people, Africans, all of us. So that's why I'm passionate about locks.
Yeah, I'm passionate about locks. I've been wearing locks since I was in high school. So this is something that's always been a part of me. I'm passionate about locks in general, in terms of the growth of culture, what it shows in culture, the creativity that we can really put behind, just creating certain styles. And one thing about just natural hair in general is that we're at a point in space where we're linking, we're connecting, we're bridging the gap between culture and hair, because it all encompasses that. So I'm passionate about just natural hair in general, understanding that, hair is definitely a part of us, who we are, and it's also a part of our culture. Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. Give it up, give it up. Some of the things that I love about locks to me, what they represent as well, think about dedication, patience, the loyalty, and most of all, when you look at that lock, it's unification, it's unity, you know what I'm saying? It takes the hair to come together. Y'all probably know that better than I do. But we're gonna get to this next question because y'all gonna have me preaching up here. Does hair have to be a certain length to get locks?
It depends on, if you're looking at a baby lock, you know, as long as the hair has some length to coil, you know, we can begin the lock. So as long as we have enough length to coil, and it just depends on the texture, because if you're dealing with a beautifully tight coil of hair, then of course it can start locking. If you're dealing with a looser texture, so it may take a little more length to start the lock. So it just depends on the length that we're working with. That's based on my expertise. That's what I was. Why I have to say it like that? Based on my expertise.
That's it?
Oh, I see.
Okay.
And there it is.
So my question that I often get from the community is, can you actually lock relaxed hair? Can you start lock with relaxed hair?
Yes, you can. I mean, it just really depends on the and, lock, relax. There are certain techniques that are used to specifically straighten hair in general. So, yes, that you can lock it straight.
So I'm the natural hair chick. The question is, can you? And my question is, why would you want to? So, why would you want to lock that hair? That's my question. That's the question I have for the moderator. Why would you want to relax that hair? And so I know that there's levels of comfortability that women have because they have a lot of hurt and misunderstanding around wearing their natural hair.
Yes, sir.
But locking relaxed hair is like bleaching your skin. It's like eating pork if you're vegan. It just doesn't make sense to me. Now, you can do lock extensions if you don't want to cut off the relaxed hair, but it would never be a client. That relaxed hair has to come off. Your visit to a barber would be your first visit before you see the
Okay.
What are the standards do? Standards. I think that, of course, technically, you can lock relaxed hair, but just like, Kafele, so eloquently spoken, why would you want to lock dead hair? Most people who choose to lock their hair is, some people do it for style. There's so many various reasons that people do it. Some people do it for style options, some people do it for spiritual options and reasons. But, when you're locking the relaxed hair, most people are doing it for vanity reasons. So I want to maintain or hold on to my length. And, what we lock into our hair is, we're holding on to that. So I have this philosophy that I've been working with and living with for a long time. In order for us to grow, we have to let some things go. And so in this case right here, the relaxer must go in order to really reach a certain level of growth. You know what I'm saying? And, sometimes when we think about faux locks and, those type locks, sometimes they can showcase a lack of commitment. Because when I ask different women who are guests or clients of mine about locking their hair, for them it's just like, well, no, I don't want to do that because I like to do this and I like to do that. But I'm like, no, you've been wearing that same dead wrap for like 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's thin. You should lock it. Because you would experience more length, you'd experience more fullness, you'd experience more freedom. You're less likely to have to run in the rain when you wear locks. You're less likely to experience the breakage and the thinning that you experience when you choose to wear your hair straight or even loose for that matter. So I know that goes beyond the question, but that's a really soulful question, so we had to go there with it. Two more? Thank you. Finally, a clap. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going to say something. All right. So, next question is, how often should someone get their roots retwisted?
Well, I tell my clients to come every 3 weeks. I try to bridge a balance between healthy shampooing, healthy clean hair, and not too much retwisting and styling the hair at the same time.
It's like a new millennial kind of term. I come from a school and an understanding that before we had the conversation of retwist, it was called grooming. So whenever I hear a stylist speak of retwist, it just sounds like they diminish our cultural art. And so when you come to a seasoned loctician, what you come for is grooming. And grooming consists of a shampoo, not a wash. It consists of a conditioner. It consists of a hot oil treatment. Could be steaming. There is massage. There is touch. There's energy. There's twisting. There's styling. This is a cultural practice. So I just like to set standards, and I'm very particular about language. So I wish that a lot of the new millennial stylists would consider using grooming instead of retwist, because it just seems like it diminishes what we do as cultural artists.
Okay, bro.
So I think, well, I know that, in that case, it just depends on the kind of locks you have. If you're someone who chooses to wear sister locks, you're less likely to get your hair retwisted, bi-weekly. It just depends on the kind of locks that you have, and as everybody else said, it depends on your lifestyle, depends on the relationship that you have with your stylist, because if your stylist suggests 3 weeks, then you should definitely go 3 weeks. If your stylist suggests 2 weeks, you should go 2 weeks, because they're helping you to preserve and maintain your locks. And so it just depends on, it depends on your lifestyle, it depends on the type of locks that you have, it depends on what you want. Like you said, you love fullness, I love fullness. So it may be a while before I groom my locks again, but it just depends on the person. There's no right or there's no wrong. What works for you will work as long as you're able to preserve those locks and, have the image and the look that you want. So
That's right, brother.
yeah.
That's right.
Give it up, give it up, give it up. I'm feeling this next question.
To each his own, baby.
Why are black men important in the natural hair community? Why are black men important in the natural hair community?
I believe that black men are important in the natural hair community for a few reasons, but I'll speak on one specifically. Black women, we care what our brothers think about our hair. We want our brothers to think that our hair is beautiful. We want our brothers to respect us based on our choices on how we choose to wear our hair. We want to be desired by our men. So when more and more black men are embracing women wearing their hair natural or specifically in locks, it makes us feel better about our decision. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a personal choice for a woman. It's her decision, but we still would appreciate the support and, the backing up from our brothers.
It's more than that. They're just the balance of life as we know it involves men and women. There's life when there's man and woman. And so that's what happens with our hair. There would be no hair without man and woman. So, I guess thinking, to ask why does the black male, or what is the male opinion, about, what was the question again?
Why is the black man important in the natural hair community?
Yeah, why are we important? I mean, we have natural hair. I mean, in many cases, we embraced it before most women did. Like we didn't go through the Jerry curls and the relaxers and the press curl and all that stuff like most women did. We were still rocking our coils and, our froze, and, we had to. We didn't have any other choice. But, as I said before, just a life balance is, there are men and women, and in the same way that the woman's existence matters with natural hair, so does the man. So I don't think that any is any more or less. I think it's natural. A lot of times when I think about the natural hair industry and how there's so many women, dominating this industry, it kind of is a parallel to what's going on in the black community in general. So there's so many households who lack the male presence. And you know, anytime we keep this foolery going on, like, what the, because it's so superficial when we say what black men got to say about natural hair. Like, it's not what black men have to say about natural hair. It's, you know, ushering the world into accepting, embracing, and loving natural hair. That's what it's about. Yeah, I mean, thank you so much. I want that affirmation, please. But no, it is. It's just about balance. You know, we feel and think the same way about natural hair as women do. When women start to lose their hair, it's devastating for them, and the same thing happens with men. If you're accustomed to having a head full of hair, you know, we lose it. It's the same thing. And so I don't think it's any different. I want us to just stop with the separation with it, and just create more balance and more unity and usher the brothers in. One of the things that I like about this event right here is that there are a lot of brothers in here, you know, and it's what the blacks do, you know, so it dispels a lot of the myths that the world has to say about, you know, men, specifically black men, in balance and team with black women. So, does that answer that question?
In a couple of different ways, you just said.
I just go so far with it,
No,
but, you know.
you're doing good, brother. You're doing good.
Thank goodness.
You're good, brother.
So,
You're quite well.
about an hour ago, I had a conversation with Locs, and I was with a client, and I was grooming her hair. And we were watching a video around the Nation of Islam. And she asked me, do any women have a conversation in the Nation of Islam? And I was like, wow, that's powerful. And so in religion, and in sports, and in business, and in so many other levels, women don't have an opportunity to lead the conversation. And so natural hair is that one conversation where they lead all the conversations. They lead the hair show, they lead the product lines, they lead the bloggers, they lead the blogs, they lead us. They lead everything. So now it's a question, are we important? We've always been important. We black men wore our hair natural first. All due respect to Madam C.J. Walker and Sister Annie Malone. They were inspired by ours. So the conversation of black men in this industry is because we create balance. And any conversation that does not invite or include black men is a deficiency.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. Anybody else want to tackle that question? Next question. What is the difference between spiritual locks and just locking your hair? Is there a difference, I should say?
I mean, you know, people are people. There are those people who choose to be, you know, just surface, you know, but just their approach in life. I call it a state of zombieism. Sometimes we just exist and we don't know what we're doing. We're just heat. You know, we're saying things, we don't know what we're saying. We're doing things without any thought or with any, you know, consciousness of it, any awareness of it. So, you know, those people who choose to wear locks or lock styles, you know, for those reasons, it's just like that. Sometimes they don't know what they're doing. They don't know that there's even, you know, a spiritual connection to it because they're less likely to even be connected to themselves. So it just depends on the individual. And I know that we seem to be going a little deeper with these questions, but we're doing this to make sure that the questions are not superficial because all of us who choose to wear locks, you know, we wear them for various reasons, but we want to make sure that it doesn't dilute, you know, the rhetoric and the lifestyle of locks, you know, because there are a lot of different ways that people are choosing to wear locks. You know, I'm not anti-faux locks. The thing that I like about faux locks is that it gives people an introduction to what they could look like, you know, in that image. But I always encourage people, you know, when you see yourselves wearing, you know, braids with these synthetic fibers and stuff like that, you can achieve that same look on your own hair without losing your edges. You know, you can have edges and you don't have to be a part of the Sick and Shut In, you know, just because your hairline is all the way, you know what I'm saying, to the middle of your head. I'm just saying. So, you know, all of these faux styles are just a mimic of locks. You know, when people choose to wear braids cascading down their backs, that's just a mimic of what locks can do. You know, and so in locks, you know, we can do all kind of things. I was talking to my friend in the car and I was like, you know, I was taking my hair out of my twist, and I was like, damn, my hair looks good as hell. And I was looking at how much body it had, and all the movement, and all the shape. I'm doing that trick. Yeah, and so, but I was doing that, and I was like, why wouldn't anybody want to wear locks? You know, why wouldn't anybody want to have a fully fortified head of hair, you know, that's less likely to break, you know, or thin? And I just, you know, that was my thing, but does that answer your question? Does anybody else?
That's my question.
It just feels like we back in our cities just kicking it on the phone.
Yes.
So it's not about spiritual for me. Spiritual is personal. I think Locs is about culture. And I think there's too many conversations around our natural hair that does not include culture. And so I don't like Locs. Because there's no other hair that could look better than your own. And so there's just layers to the synthetic hair that I just can't be with, because you already know what you look like with Locs. Because when you see your sister, you see yourself. When you see your brother, you see yourself. And the layers of the synthetic hair is that none of that money goes back into our community. Zero. And the money that they achieve from it doesn't even partially look like it goes into a black bank. And so there's just, fake hair for me is the new slavery. It's like white folks are buying real estate, black folks are buying hair. And they're not even considering their own texture as a priority.
That's good, man.
Okay, no more?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the next question is, what's the ugly phase? We often hear that in the hospital, going through an ugly phase.
Okay, I think that hearing it from clients, they feel like it would start your life, but I honestly don't feel like it's up to this stage. But it goes back to what do you like, you know, who are you, what do you love, what you see, what you imagine. But I do not like to talk. I'm sorry, we didn't hear the question.
The question was, what's the ugly phase? In the Black community, you often hear that, you know, we're in the ugly stage.
I'm like her, I don't believe in the term the ugly phase. Everybody in this room looks in the mirror in the morning and they feel beautiful, right? So if you feel beautiful, your hair cannot define you to feel that you have an ugly face. That's something that I feel like you're speaking on the millennials, these new creatures are coming about saying that I'm ugly and I don't like where my hair looks and all those different things and what's going on. But I find also that everybody's in a rush these days too. And I like the fact that Locs slows you down and makes you realize that you've been in your journey 1, 2, 3 years versus you just woke up like this because you didn't. And let's be honest, go through the phase, go through everything that you're gonna go through with it, because just because you may be up in the air, you still will hit a trigger. So you're gonna go through something somewhere, somehow. So just deal.
Yeah, man. Good point.
So one of the things that I like to consider, because you know, I said earlier that my passion is it transcends Locs. My passion is really people, and that's why I've been able to exist happily and lovingly in the industry for as long as I have. And we have to be patient with people, and we have to be patient with Black people, because one of the things that we have to realize is that all of these behavioral patterns that we exercise are learned behavior. And so we were taught to hate our hair. We were taught to hate ourselves. And the reason that a lot of women chose to wear straight hair and, you know, relaxers and all these chemical compromises, because that's what the standard of beauty, that's what they were taught the standard of beauty was. And so, you know, it's like recovering from a syndrome. And we have, and it's like a detox, and we have to be patient with people as they're transitioning. Everybody's not there right now. There's some people who weren't, you know, natural all their lives. There's some people who, like, you know, Keisha just said she was relaxed 18 years of her life, and it wasn't until a certain point that she realized, that she decided, you know, I want to experience me, and I want to grow in me and with me. And so, as people who choose to wear a lock, what we have to do is be trailblazers and facilitate an easy experience for our black people and let them know about the beauty of wearing locks and the beauty of wearing natural hair, and not diminish, not hurt them, you know, because they're not there yet. Be patient with them, you know, encourage them, be a living showcase of how beautiful natural hair is and how beautiful locks are, and just the diversity that exists with, you know, the options for natural Afro textured hair. So I know a lot of times, you know, many of us can be very dogmatic about how we approach it, and there's, you know, nothing wrong with us having our own opinions, but we want to make sure that we're not creating any further severing of relationships with black people, because that's the last thing that we do.
Y'all ain't clap for that. That was
Powerful. So before we conclude, what we're going to do is, if there's anybody in the audience that has a question for the panel, this is now your time.
I'm just playing, y'all. I'm sorry. I know that was a lot tonight.
I don't know if y'all are aware of this, but excuse me, that's kind of swell. But there are actually some people in the natural hair community that don't even see locks as being natural. Have y'all heard about this?
Yes. Yeah.
Can you find any logic in that? Because I can't. Like,
people are making up stuff everywhere. And I find they are getting on my nerves. Because you got all these YouTubes and all these stands telling you all these different tips and tricks, and stand upside down and lay on the floor and rub your hair in the grass and all this. Oh my God, you don't have to do any of that. So if you just leave it alone, it is what is called natural. Because you let it do what his hair is naturally gonna do. All these new terms they come up with, they're confusing themselves. And I just hate to see what the industry is going to be in the next 25 years because of it.
Well, that's where we come in. So the beautiful thing is that because we are the trailblazers, we're the industry leaders, we are facilitating the conversation, we're facilitating the rhetoric, we're teaching the proper terminology that people can use in reference to their hair. We're teaching them ways that they can, you know, best preserve and maintain healthier hair. So, you know, 25 years from now, we are going to do this together. We're going to make sure that they're not, the non-professionals are not coming in, you know, misinforming the community, but we're going to step in. That's what we're doing right now. That's why we're here on this panel. So, you know, there are a lot of people doing it, but the thing is, as I said before, people, we learn what we learned when we learned it, and we know what we know when we know it. And some people just don't know anymore. They don't know any better, they don't know any different. And so that's why the industry leaders, that's why it's up to us to make sure that we step up and inform, you know, them tactfully, you know, about the proper terminology, you know, they can use in reference to hair and just proper treatments. And just lessons with natural Afro texture hair, because we got to keep in mind that this phenomenon is new for a lot of black people. This is a recovery. You got to think about it. So many black people have not experienced their natural hair. You know, I've transitioned so many women, countless women, into wearing natural hair, as well as men. And a lot of them, if you've been relaxed since the age of 4, you don't know. That means you were bred into the mindset of the relaxing. You know, and so that's a recovery. So I'm not knocking, you know, anybody, but I'm going to make sure that I'm not passive about it and that I'm aggressive in my approach with helping to educate them in the way that's going to keep us moving forward. What was your question? The question was, what was the question? The question was, have we heard that locks were not natural?
Yeah, like,
and I have not heard that. You know, I personally have not heard that, but you know, that's what's going on in these streets.
Yeah, like I've heard stories about that.
Yeah.
I think what it is that, you know, in the natural hair community, a lot of them think that, you know, when we color our locks, style our locks, that's what they consider it not natural. Yeah. So, like, for an example, I have blue locks. That's just my personality. That's who I am. I shave my side for a reason. Not just for style or fashion, because, you know, I actually have fibroids. And the side of my head is thin. There's a reason for why I shave my side of my head. You know, but this is me. This is who I am. You know, when you see me with blue locks, you know, I know that girl with blue locks. You know, I like to stand out. I like to be different. But someone would say, well, you got locks, but you're not natural, so you color it.
Well, I think there's so many conversations around our hair, again, that don't balance our culture. And so before there was Miss Clairol, we used to always color our hair with plants and berries. You know, as African people, to the lock stylists in the community, I see the same showcase of lock styles all the time. But don't forget about adornment. Don't forget about glitter. Don't forget about cowrie shells. Don't forget about beading and string and yarn. There's so many layers of style that we haven't even touched upon with our natural hair. And yeah, so I just feel like the elders in the community have to do more work on social media because people don't know who to trust or who to believe. And they're just asking questions and they're just getting random answers. So when somebody posts a product and they say, I use this shampoo, how many other people had this experience? And then there'll be hundreds of people on social media and YouTube that will agree or disagree, but they don't even know what the person's hair looks like. Everybody's locks are different. Everybody's locks are like fingerprints. They're like DNA. There's 100 people in here with locks, everybody's locks are different. And so my plea is that you get your information from professionals and not the spot. The professionals are the people who have done hundreds and 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 hundreds of things. Your status doesn't qualify you as a professional. The community will deem you as a professional.
I'll ask you at one thing. I think it's pretty much hatred too, just like hate. We don't bother people that get weeds. Natural people don't bother people that get relaxed. They don't bother people that get clothes or whatever. But they always got something to say about the other side. They always got to come in. Her hair is blue, it's not natural. Well, boo, you just put Ushama's hair in your head. She ain't even black. We ain't saying that about you. You know what I'm saying? Like all these different things that go on, I just think it's pretty much, like I said, hatred. Like there's no love and understanding for each other in that decision making of how to take care of that.
Give it up, give it up, give it up. We got 2 more questions.
I got a question.
Okay, she gets this is a bonus question right here.
What advice would you give to someone who's contemplating catching their life?
For a friend.
It's fun, it better not be you.
It's not me. Okay.
I would just say, for any decision you make, what is your why? That's what is your,
Like
what
my
is your
dad
why?
right now. You better stop.
All right, so we got 2 more questions.
I'm sorry. I would say congratulations. I would say whatever you want to do, whatever look you wanted in that mirror that next morning, whatever made you smile, whatever brought more love in your relationship, what brought happiness to your heart, do it. Because if you don't, you're not living your life.
And then, you know, as we said before, you know, people choose to cut for various reasons. You know, one of the things that I would say is just make sure that you're prepared to do what you have not done. Because the beautiful thing about wearing locks is that you have the freedom of not having to maintain in the way that people who choose to wear loose hair do. And so you just have to be prepared for maintaining and preserving your hair in a different way, or getting it done, you know, with a little more frequency than you would before. But you know, it's gonna be fun. You know, many of us who wear locks, this is my 3rd set of locks, so it just depends. Sometimes we put it off because we want to start something fresh. We want a clean palette. We want to, you know, renew ourselves. We want to redefine ourselves. So it's just so many reasons. So whatever the case is, just be prepared to enjoy it, embrace it, and you may have to do a little more work, and that's okay.
I love that you say that, because I tell my people who don't have black hair, I be like, I wake up and I got 99 powers.
Yes, but here I know that's real.
You are so this plug to LocLivin.
Hey.
So that's what it's all about. It's about LocLivin and living with your locks. I'm sorry. I just wanted to drop that.
about where the flex bomb at. We need a flex bomb for that one.
It's about LocLivin. Everybody go in and like LocLivin. Whether you cut your locks, whether you color them, whether you style them. I've been locked forever. I've had long locks, I've had short locks, I've had blonde locks, I've had black locks, I've had red locks. Enjoy the journey. Mindy Irie says, I'm not my hair, I am my hair. You know, I can't live without my locks. It's like losing a favorite for me. I'm gonna have locks to the day I die. If I have, it's like Stevie Wonder. That's LocLivin. When people complain about Stevie Wonder and that brother should cut his hair because his hair is thinning, people don't understand the magnitude of the relationship that Stevie Wonder has with his culture. He will wear his natural hair in all stages, in all forms, adorn it with one cowrie shell, and he will always come to an award show always wearing black clothes. So people don't understand the culture and the attachment that people have in the relationship that they have together.
Yes, Keisha.
I want to add to your question, because as a YouTuber, a lot of people get invested in my locks. And I've had battles when I decided, like, maybe I should cut my locks off, because I think I want to start them over thicker or something like that. Whatever reason. Maybe go all natural, because I dyed my hair since I was a 1 year lock. I'm like, maybe I just want to go completely natural, no dye, start my locks thicker, maybe freeform. So I have these ideas and I share them with my viewers. And sometimes I get messages that kind of creep me out. People say, oh, if you cut your locks, I will kill you. You inspire me, don't cut off your locks. I'm just like, whoa, like that's weird, first of all. Why is my lock journey so influential in yours? Everyone's hair journey is their own individual journey. So if someone says, Keisha, I think I'm cutting off my locks, I'm like, okay, good luck, God bless. Make sure you keep them just in case you want to reattach them, because I know a lot of people end up reattaching their locks later on. That's fine, whatever. But at the end of the day, do what you want to your hair for you. So just make sure that it's not because someone else is influencing you to do it. People tell me, oh Keisha, because of you, I did this to my hair. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But at the end of the day, I just hope that everyone's making their decisions based on their own needs and wants and desires and things like that.
Blessings, blessings.